Midnight serpent, made of lust, coiled and keen, contently covets solitude. Hey soul babies, welcome to another episode of Satin Soul Bits. Today I'm here with Callan Taylor. Hi Callan.
Hi.
Welcome. Callan is an actress and model residing in LA. She's pretty much my neighbor, which is cool. And we've known each other for a long time, since high school, so I'm excited to get into this conversation with you all today. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Good. I forgot that I was going to say that Callan is a huge advocate for animals' rights. Also, on top of being an actress, so you guys should check her out on Instagram at CTLights with 2 S's at the end. Everything in that will be in the information on whatever platform you're listening from. But yeah, so let's get into it.
As we all know, dating sucks.
Dating sucks. Well, I guess it can be fun, but I think that more people have negative experiences than positive when it's like casual dating.
Definitely.
Or online dating.
Online dating is the worst.
Do you want to talk about a little bit about your online dating experience?
I mean, when it comes to apps, like if it comes to Tinder or what are those other ones?
There's Bumble. Bumble's kind of more fun than Tinder.
That's not, yeah.
Bumble was kind of fun because you can like fill out a little questionnaire and then you can weed people out so much easier.
Oh, that's nice.
Like I would crack up at people who would swipe on me, you know, were interested in me, but they had like conservative Christian in there, and I like knew that was never going to work for me.
Absolutely
and
not.
My information, my bio would show how like the opposite I was.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, why are you swiping on me? You're not, first of all, pretty sure men don't look or don't read bios as much as women do.
I definitely don't think so.
I think they're just like swipe, 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 swipe.
Especially when they message you with questions that could be answered in your bio.
Yeah. One time,
right
this
there.
is a funny story. One time, okay, because you know you can link up your social media to it.
Mm-hmm.
And one guy literally messaged me and said, I think that you just have this to plug your writing or to like,
Seriously?
you know, market yourself. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm coming to fucking dating app so that you guys can read my poetry. Like, that's the literal opposite of what I want them to do.
That's great.
Yeah.
What a fucking ass.
I know.
Personally, I don't use dating apps.
Yeah, so that I am curious about that, or why you don't use them. I feel like so many people do use them. I know I prefer not to. I reached this point in my dating app exploration where I realized probably like a year or two ago, I was like, you know what? The person that I want to be with is probably most likely not on any of these apps. And so, and it's true because now I'm in a relationship and they don't have any, not only do they not date app anything, I know I just made that a verb or whatever, but they also don't have any social media.
Right.
Which is a blessing. So.
Which, like I told you, a lot of guys in LA, for some reason that I've met, don't have social media.
Yeah, that's weird.
This is very interesting.
That is fascinating. And I didn't date around here long enough to know or have like a wide variety of that experience, but that is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that.
Yeah.
But I really only had experience with Tinder. Tinder was enough for me to just kind of write off everything else. But this doesn't go to say everyone else that uses them, if it works for them, that's really great. And I encourage if it works for you.
Yeah.
My roommate uses it 3 or 4
The thing.
of them.
Yeah.
She hasn't necessarily found anyone of value. Yeah. But she's found some cool people here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I've made friends off of it. It's like you never know what the connection is going to end up being. I guess I'm with you. I think that I've had more awkward, weird dates than I have positive ones. And sometimes even when you think you have a positive one, it's like, oh, sorry, I just want to hook up, even though, you know, they'll take you on an amazing date. But then at the end, they're like, oh, wait, I'm just hooking up with people. And you're like, oh, okay. So yeah, maybe we should have cleared that up before we went on the date and before I bothered meeting you.
But then some guys, they haven't said this to me, but I've heard it through other friends. The guys will be like, well, you're on Tinder, so this is...
Don't you want...
Yeah, isn't you're looking for?
Right.
Like,
Tinder's for casual sex.
Yeah.
I've had guys throw that in my face too, and I think it just kind of alleviates any maybe guilt or something where they would think like, oh, maybe I should have expressed this.
Yeah.
I've said this before, and I will probably say this in my entire, of anyone paying attention to the words I share, is that I am a firm believer in the fact that, or the idea that if we were all more open, honest about what we truly wanted in a relationship or not relationship or polyamory or whatever it is that you want, that you would get what you actually want.
Ooh, amen.
Because you're being open about it. For example, like if you want to date multiple people, instead of trying to get with people beforehand so that you can like get in your roster and then break the news to everybody, oh, by the way, I'm sleeping with all these other people, because that's happened to me with someone I really was into. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, and I did get a heads up early enough, but it was like, it would have been nice because I wasn't in the zone for that at all. Right. But if they had just said that from the get-go to everybody, they would happily meet plenty of women. And I'm going to say this specifically about men being open about this to women, because there are plenty of women who want casual sex and don't care and all of that. But a lot of men try to hide it first so that they don't, so that they don't scare everyone off right away, because I think that's what they think is going to happen. Exactly. So that brings me to casual sex. So for me, I know, as I became more aware and more in tune with myself, casual sex was like a super no-go. The same way. I mean, I'm that person that so badly wants to be able to have casual sex. And whenever it gets down to it, even sometimes like right in the moment where it's like, oh, this is going to happen, I'm like, nope, bye, gotta go. Yeah. And I think that's okay. I mean, sometimes we just want to explore, but sometimes you can't. Yeah. Or like, those fantasies where you see people like hooking up in the bathroom, or they first meet and they have sex. Like, I can't do that. I don't know what it is, but I just can't get past that block. And it's funny because I actually feel the same, and I have always had that block too, where I'm like, I want to be that fun, spontaneous, like sexy person out there in the world doing all these crazy things like that you see on Broad City or like wherever else, And that reminded me of, there's an episode in, I think the 4th season, Broad City, where Alana meets this guy at a restaurant. They like start making eyes at each other, even though she's at her table and he's at his. And then they meet in the bathroom, and it turns out he's married. Ugh, and then she was like, she's like, oh, never mind. She like, it's like, I'm out of here. But it was like, to even get to the point where they could be in the bathroom and you've never said a word to them. It's just like, it's always a good idea. There's this other girl on Instagram. It's like, I think her name, it's What's Wrong With My Vagina. And she's very pro. She's actually really cool. She's like pro casual sex, pro everything like that. So she tells her followers all the time. She's like, make sure you have, it's like a certain word, some kind of blank buddy. I can't remember what the word is. But it's like a go home buddy. So you text like 2 people being like, I'm going to be at this address with this guy. This is his name. This is where we are. Yes, I've seen that. And I think that's so smart, and that's something I didn't do. My friends don't. I've never gotten texts from my friends like that, and I think that's something. I'm glad there's people like that on social media who I'm sure she has a big audience. I'm guessing. Yeah, she just hit 10 or 14K or something. Oh, nice. Like that. Yeah. So that I'm glad there's people out there focusing on that work, because I think it's so important to. Because again, for the girls who do want casual sex. Yeah. I mean, as ridiculous as it freaking is that we have to say where we are and what we're doing so that, just in case this guy rapes me, people know. Yeah. But, I mean, there's not much we can do with the climate at the moment. Yeah. I mean, like, there is, but, like, there is so much going on. Like, just because everyone's mad in the media or people are speaking up doesn't mean it's not going to stop somebody from harming somebody else if they truly want to do that. Exactly. So it is always good to have that precaution. Yeah, if a burglar really wants to get into a house, he's going to get into the house. Exactly. It's like, doesn't matter if the lights are on and people are home, that burglar's coming in. Right. So, which is terrifying, but it's something that you have to, as a woman, know is the reality. Yeah. In terms of casual sex, do you also feel like picky with men? Like, I know that it was like so picky. Where do I even? Wait, yeah. Like, it's funny, the opposite, where I think men are on, Tinder swiping right for every girl that looks hot on the first picture. I know that for me, I was like inspecting every profile very thoroughly before I would even swipe. 100%. Even just in real life. Looking at people. And I would say my cuteness factor, like when I think someone's cute, I'm not very picky when it comes to that. I'll be like, especially if they got tattoos and wear a backwards hat. Like, I got such a fucking type. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I mean, so stupid, ridiculous. All my friends like, does he have a backwards hat? I'm like, you shut the fuck up, okay? He's very nice.
He's very nice.
Yeah. He treats me great. Shut up.
Well, yeah, that's what matters.
Not that any of those guys really have. So let's be real with that. Then I'm like, bye. But wait, fuck, what was your question?
Oh, just being picky with men.
Oh, being picky, yes. No, when it comes down to actually hooking up with the guy, by hooking up, I honestly mean making out.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way,
it is hooking up. Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to sex with a guy, oh my God. Even just the smallest thing. I could tell you a story about this guy recently.
Yeah.
Had been moderately seeing. So I was kind of dating these two different guys that I met in real life through like real life instances, not on an app or anything.
Which is lovely.
They were two completely different looking guys. One was like backwards hat, tattoos, tall. I think he was Filipino. And then the other guy was just like this white guy, shorter, totally not my type in any way, shape, or form. But
did they both ask you?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh no, actually, sorry. I asked the Filipino guy out. I asked that guy out, and then the white guy, he asked me out. But two completely different guys. Mm-hmm. And they kind of asked me out around the same time, and I was like, oh, fuck it. Like, sure, why not? I'll try dating two guys at once.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like people always talk, like, people would tell me when I was dating, they're like, oh, it's a numbers game. I'm like, but why? But yeah why not? I mean,
I was like, okay. And like, I've done this before, and it never ends well. Like, I can't ever do it. I always just end up having to pick one because I feel bad. Yeah. Even if I tell them or if I don't tell them, I'm like, this is fucking weird. I can't do this. Yeah. But so I was going on dates with we'll call the Filipino guy Max. Okay. And we'll call the white guy Tom. So I was kind of dating Max, and then Max and I had like really hot chemistry, and I was like, oh yeah, like I'm going to have sex with this guy. Months later, I still haven't had sex with him. I actually have ended up avoiding him for a month. So, but then I'm like, oh, I kind of want to hang out with him again. But then now I feel like he found some other girl in LA.
When people make me feel that lukewarm kind of feeling where I'm not even certain if I want to see them.
Yeah.
And then it's like you try to entertain the idea. You're like,
exactly.
They're not so bad. Or they're cool because of this and this and this. Yeah. But I don't know.
I was getting kind of bored.
Right. But I just feel like I see this quote a lot that if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no.
Like with clothes, if you don't love that shirt, don't buy it.
I was just at Buffalo Exchange the other day, and I was telling my love that my method for clothes shopping is that if it's not like I'm obsessed with this and need to wear it all the time, then I don't get it.
Yeah, because then you're never going to wear it.
No.
So there's Tom and Max, right?
Tom and Max.
Okay, so this is my main point. It takes me a really long time to get to points, so feel free to reel me in here. With Tom was the main thing. So Max, I just got kind of bored, but really great guy still. But I just kind of I'm going to take a break. So then I went on a few dates with Tom, and oh God, he came over and he stayed over for hours and hours and hours and was waiting for this motherfucker to make a move. And I don't know what takes guys so long to make a move. I get it in this climate now, but at the same time, it's like, obviously I want you to make a move. So why don't you make a move? Took him forever, whatever. We ended up making out. Have you ever made out with a guy, like, full on, where you're like on a bed and grinding and all that type of shit, but your clothes are on? Mm-hmm. And you can just really tell that this guy wants to have sex with you?
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean like uncomfortably tell that he wants to have sex with you. And that he should know that it's not going to happen that night. But again, guys aren't mind readers. But I don't know how.
I feel like they move into this primal zone where they're not even thinking anymore.
And like, don't get me wrong, when I'm like making out with someone, like I'm all like, woohoo, like let's get crazy, like let's get freaky, whatever. But I was trying to explain this to my roommate the other night because she's like, well, what do you mean, like that he really wanted to have sex with you? I'm like,
I know. I'm like, are you ready to share the detail? I know. I'm like, example you.
It's like you're like making out on the bed, and it's almost like he's thrusting into you.
Oh.
Way too much.
Yes. And it's like, dude, I have fucking pants on.
Exactly.
This isn't, like, you're not going to feel what you want to feel from doing this much.
Literally.
Like, calm down. Yeah. I've been there.
And, like, I'm on the bottom, and this homeboy's just
and it hurts.
Yeah, he's going at it. I'm like, we are not having sex, but you're acting like we're having sex.
Oh, my God, I hate that. I hate that so much. It is so weird.
It's like, so weird.
It's bizarre. Because they really do start to act like you're having sex. And then they go into that, they're gone. They're mentally they're out there. And then you're like, okay, like, this is too much.
But it's where they don't notice you're not into it anymore.
Like I said, they're off.
They're off.
Gone.
They're somewhere else.
They don't even see you anymore. And
in that moment,
it is the most bizarre behavior that I think I've experienced in terms of, you know, a borderline where I'm not feeling safe anymore, but just where I'm still okay, but it's like, okay, it's so weird.
Exactly. It's not that, it's not where you're like, ooh, I don't feel safe. It's like, ooh, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, get the fuck off.
Like, now you're weirding me out.
Now you're weirding me out.
And it's kind of, if you really dissect it, it's kind of weird because I know that I've seen conversations where people are talking about how men basically just use us to masturbate, like, you know what I mean, because of the way they're interacting with us or don't interact with us or whatever, like they're just there, and it's that kind of behavior that feels that way. Oh yeah. Because if they're more engaged and more present with you, then they'll know that you're not as comfortable or that you want to stop or anything. And I think that it's really important for men to think more about the person they're with, man or woman or whoever, it doesn't matter. Think about who you're with, be present in the moment and have the ability and the empathy and compassion to, and this could go for anybody, but I think that maybe women naturally are like this more, and just like my sex drive or my horniness doesn't get in the way of me seeing if something's wrong or if someone's feeling bad or, you know, like there's just that ability to like do those things. And so I don't know why, like, I know we were talking about like when they get in the zone and they get primal and stuff, but I don't want that to be an excuse for that behavior because we can all go into that zone, and it's about balancing that energy where you can still stay present. Exactly. Because they really sometimes do not stay present. And then it's like, dude, you can't tell that I'm miserable right now?
Yeah, that I'm done.
That I'm not enjoying this at all?
That's probably ended almost every single somewhat casual yet exclusive thing that I've been in, where I'm like, you don't realize I'm here anymore. You didn't even ask if I'm having a good time, or you just got off and you didn't give a shit about me. Right. If that happens now, honestly, I'm not kidding, I'm done. Goodbye. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, good, because that's raising the bar and not settling for the bullshit, because there are plenty of men who do care and are going to make sure you're taken care of. That it's like, what? There's no point in wasting time with the other people that do all that other crap, because as people say, dick is in abundance.
Yes.
And
oh my God.
You don't have to settle.
You don't have to settle. I'm not pressed for dick.
Yeah.
I can go outside and fuck whoever I want. I'm not pressed for it.
Right.
Like, leave me alone. No. And also, telling me you have a big dick won't make me want to fuck you either.
Oh my God. Okay, everyone. So Callan and I got lunch a couple weeks ago, and I'm walking up to her, and she's shouting at me across the street, I just got sexually harassed while sitting here waiting for you. And I didn't hear her at first. And so she's telling me this like over and over, and I felt so bad that she had to shout it 3 times across the street. But yeah, I mean, it had been like 5 minutes.
Yeah, this guy in this big-ass truck was just asking me if I knew where the freeway was.
Which is, first off, fucking creepy.
And because there are multiple guys in the car, and I'm like, I'm not coming up to that car and telling you. Because he's like, I'm lost. Can you help me? I'm like, not when you're acting like that.
Also, your phone is GPS, and I'm not stupid. What is this?
I said, no, I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, goodbye. And then that's when he was like, oh, well, I have a big dick, so I just thought I'd try, or whatever the hell he said. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, like, that's the last thing I care about.
I'm just, like, sitting on the side of the street waiting for Sam. I'm like, I don't want to know about your dick. I don't even know you.
I know. Oh, my God. It's just...
Don't you even dare try to send me a picture if I haven't asked.
And that's yeah, that too. And that's the kind of guy that's probably going to do the fucking masturbating with your body instead of being with you. It's those kinds of guys.
And I don't know if guys just really aren't aware. I mean, they must know that's what's happening. Like,
then you have to have some self-awareness.
Because then the woman just feels like a fucking object.
Yeah.
So if I feel like an object, I'm out.
Yeah.
Peace out.
It's that simple. And I really, when we settle for that kind of behavior, it's multiple reasons. It could be trauma related. It could be how we grew up. It could be self-esteem. It could be all kinds of stuff. So
many factors.
Please, anyone listening who feel like, just I hope all women reach a point. I know we all go through these self-destructive, I feel like in your 20s, you go through self-destructive behavior and then kind of start to grow out of it as you get toward 30. But I mean, not to say that people can't do this their whole lives. That's definitely a possibility. I just encourage everyone to work on healing themselves and their programs because it's not worth it.
No,
it's not worth all the shit.
Because then you look back at it, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what was I doing? Ugh, I know. When I think back on some things, I'm like, I want to drop, like, pull it out of my memory, like Harry Potter, like, whatever they do with they pull it out and drop it in the little bowl, like,
throw it away. Some fire. High school relationships in the fire pit, please.
Right. Yeah. My high school wasn't even as bad. Later, it got worse.
Ooh.
But I don't feel like I explored as much as I should have in high school.
Oh, same.
I just kind of kept to myself. Like, although it's funny, the only year that I was really single was my junior year. Mm-hmm. But that's when I could have been out having fun and doing all kinds of crazy shit, but I didn't.
Exactly.
It's just chilling, minding my business.
I definitely did some crazy shit, but I always had a shit-ass boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like from 16 to 20. So stupid.
That's okay, though. That's the time to have shit-ass boyfriends, right?
Right? I'm like I said, into the fire pit.
Yeah.
So...
Fire pit.
And they always come back years later.
Sometimes I feel like whenever we try to return to exes or anything like that, that it always proves to be pointless.
Yes.
Or like something still goes wrong and it's like, okay, you lost it for a reason. I mean, that's just my experience. I know there's plenty of people who
get back with their ex.
Yeah, and they work out because they just needed that time apart.
Exactly.
I mean, look at Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel.
Or my ex and his ex.
Uh-oh. That sounds like a story too.
So fucking annoying. But things happen for a reason, I suppose. But that's my thing sometimes too, is you broke up for a reason, you know? Sometimes if it's because of distance or you know, very trivial stuff like that, even then, sometimes there's just a very solid reason why people break up.
Yeah.
I always feel like if you go back, if you haven't worked on all those issues, like those issues are just going to come back up again.
Oh, for sure.
So, and especially people like to go back to things that they're familiar with.
Yes, I was just thinking
Which is what I think my ex did.
Yeah, I think a lot do. Well, I had an ex who would always come around when his girlfriend would break up with him, and it's like, okay, you haven't evolved at all. You're no different. You are the same exact person. I've grown. You haven't. This isn't going to work. Like, we're on completely different planes of existence at this point, so...
And I feel like that's a guy just being selfish, too, because he's like, I know she cares. Sure. So, like, it's manipulative behavior.
It's manipulative behavior, but also it's like they can't, I know for him specifically, it's like, I knew he just couldn't be alone.
Yeah.
Because he never could be.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, you don't even care that it's me. Then I found out he was hitting up other girls, too, that, one girl that he was dating, or cheated on me with, and so it's like, okay, you're just trying to talk to all of us. Exactly. Who's going to be in my text inbox first? Yeah. And it doesn't have anything to do with who we are, or, you know.
I had an ex who actually, he cheated on me with another girl, and then that girl and I actually became friends. And then he would continue for years later to hit us both up with the same script.
Did he know you guys were friends?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he actually knew that we were good enough friends that we talk.
Yeah.
Like she, hi Sierra, she lets me use her Hulu. So like we're chill.
A real friend.
Yeah, we would check in with each other and be like, hey, did Nick do this? And we'd be like, yeah, he sent us the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
We'd be like, dude, this is years later. Like, get a fucking grip on your life.
Yeah, go meet new people.
And leave us alone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was awful to both of us. It was ridiculous. We actually found out the more we talked with each other, she would spend the night at his house. He would call me, and like the 19-year-old I was, he'd like call me to booty call, and like I was so hopelessly in love with this guy. So I was like, oh my God, okay, yeah. So I'd come out and like fuck him in his car, and he'd go back to her.
Holy shit.
And then have sex with her. When we found this out, we were like, bro, what is wrong with you?
Wow.
Also, you know, I shouldn't have been in that position. She shouldn't have been up, you know.
I just don't know.
At the same time, it's like...
It's like a power thing, an ego thing. That just blows my mind.
That was years later once we figured that part out, too, I believe. But, yeah, it's just crazy. Some guys, man, I don't know where they learn to be I don't even know the correct word. I just want to say player because that's kind of just where it comes from. But how can you possibly be that satisfied at the end of the day?
Or unsatisfied.
Yeah.
Where you have to fill the void with people.
Yeah. It's like Joey from Friends. Like, that guy has some serious issues.
Yeah.
And none of his friends are thinking, gee, Joey, do you want to talk because you sleep with a gazillion women?
It's quirky sitcoms.
And he ends up alone in the end.
Oh my God, he does.
Yeah.
And then he gets his own show, and he probably ends up alone on that show, too.
Right?
I never watched it.
Same, I think, happens with, like, Nate from Gossip Girl. He ends up alone, too, and he did the same type of behavior. It's like, but never leads to anything.
So, guys, watch TV and learn from the men you act like. They end up alone.
Yes. Or they get brokenhearted and they continue their stupid fucking cycles.
Yeah.
I think the big part of it, too, is always they got brokenhearted once.
Yeah. And then take it out on everybody. That shit
take it on every other girl.
It's so absurd. It's like, get a grip on yourself and just take
care of your inner work.
Do your inner work. It really only comes down to that. I can't stand that I was hurt, so I'm going to hurt everybody in my path. I think that's the most immature, irresponsible behavior ever. So and women do it too. And it's just ridiculous, I think. It's the dumbest thing ever. Me, I think I've missed out on some experiences because I've taken so much time to do inner work. But same. You know what? I would never complain about that because now that I'm in a relationship that is the best relationship I've ever been in, I know that it was worth the wait, worth the time off, worth not experiencing whatever crazy shit that I think I should have because now I'm in the best relationship of my life, and it's because I did that inner work. I knew that I had changed and grown and evolved as a person because of the relationship and partner that I attracted.
Right.
And I'm not 100% sold. I'm not really sold on the law of attraction kind of thing. I don't think everybody's your mirror. I don't think, some people are just abusive or fucked up, and it doesn't mean that you're that too.
Right.
That's the fucked up thing about law of attraction and all that idea. But I will say that I think that we do attract certain things, or you know what I mean? I don't know. Basically, I knew that was partially why I attracted such a great relationship, or why I found that, is because I had done that work and moved into a space where I wasn't bitter or lonely or hopeless or angry, or you know what I mean? So it's like when you change those things inside, you have better relationships with everyone, family, friends, everything. When you do the inner work, your whole world changes.
And you also start to notice what isn't changing around you. Like you said, you're attracting better people, but then the people that sometimes have been around for a while, they still bring out like that side of you that you had worked hard to change. And you're like, okay, now I got to figure this out.
And in that case, sometimes people fall off.
Yeah.
And I think that the strongest bonds grow with you.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will say that sometimes this is hard, and I think I'm still learning how to move with it. Friendships that feel stale, that you feel like you can't do any more with.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't want to let them go.
Yeah.
And you stay friends, but you're like, we're at this standstill. And then, they might not even know.
Right.
Maybe you're just feeling it, but it's like.
I feel like that's really where communication has to come in, where you kind of have to sit down and be like, hey, this is happening.
Yeah.
Either we continue and try to work on whatever, is making me feel the way I'm feeling, and if they're feeling the same way too.
Yeah.
And if not, then maybe we need to take some time apart.
Right.
Which is a very difficult, conversation to have.
It's for some reason for me, it's actually harder to have those conversations with friends than a partner. It's way easier for me to come to a partner with problems that I have.
Oh, yeah.
Than a friendship. I feel like
you were texting other bitches.
Right. I feel like there's this level of defensive-ness in friendships that, or maybe just I'm experiencing that, but it's like, I don't understand why. I don't vibe with that. It's like, just be open.
Yeah. On social media, you see a lot of, partially toxic since social media, and you're looking at things that you...
and
comparing yourself and your life. You see all these girls with all these girlfriends and all these besties, and they all have things in common, and they have...
Go on trips together.
They go on trips, and they have their hype women. They're hype women. They're like, oh my God, let me take a picture of you. Oh my God, you look so great.
Yeah.
Like, get it, girl. Like, she's so hot. And for me personally, I look at that, and I just kind of think, oh, I don't have girls like that in my life, or they just don't choose to act that way. But I act that way with them, but they don't do it back.
Yeah,
I think that's why there's a really good article by someone somewhere, which I remembered. But they were saying why these really community-based TV shows, of course, because everyone watches TV nowadays, why they were becoming so popular again, like Friends and that 70s show.
I love that 70s show. I love Parks and Rec. I love The Office, and those are all like ensemble shows.
Everything that has like a big sense of community where all these friends hang out and share and confide in each other is because people don't have that. They're watching it alone in their room and they're like
wanting it.
They're wanting what they're watching.
Right.
So, and that goes a lot. They were focusing heavily on the millennial population and how, because they've had social media and technology first.
Well, you know what's funny too is that, and maybe our generation's like the guinea pigs of it, because I grew up, I mean, as early as I know, we had internet, and then AOL came out, and Instant Messenger came out when we were kids, and so we were already starting to use that as a form of communication before we even had the social skills.
Yeah.
Before we even were out in the world. So it's pretty interesting that now we are where we are.
Well, it's interesting because we can remember both.
Yeah.
And then the generation after us, they grew up with just that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, they grew up with a phone in their freaking hand and in their face.
Right, and the iPads and everything. I didn't have a phone until the end of middle school.
Same.
And then
high school.
My friend jumped into a pool with my new phone in her pocket. It was a little Nokia brick.
Oh, my God.
So it died the first day. My dad was like, well, then you're getting a hand-me-down phone. Or the other hand-me-down phone that's broken.
Yeah.
So I had like half a broken screen. And to even read text messages, I would have to go edit the text message. Do you remember when you could delete, or you could edit other people's text messages?
Yeah.
And then I would delete it slowly so I would see word by word what they were saying to me. Until like sophomore year of high school. I didn't have an iPhone until I was out of college, I think.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have an iPhone until forever.
And they're growing up with iPhones and smartphones, and so it's just crazy. One thing I did want to go back to about online dating is the feeling of insecurity and validation, because I think that, I mean, the first time I ever got on Tinder was because I was bored.
Right.
And I wanted to see what was on there. And then see who was on there. Right. And then that was all on the East Coast. The first time I ever used Tinder, I lived in Boston. And then when I moved to New York, it was like, oh, who's in New York? And then and then I was in the Bay when I moved back to California. And then I moved here and I was like, no more. Not doing any more at all. And then I was like, well, one day I was like, I just want to see what the kind of people are. And if there's anywhere that will get you off of dating apps, it's Los Angeles.
Oh, I was just about to say, Los Angeles is its own fucking climate.
I think the coolest people I ever saw on Tinder were in New York.
That makes sense.
New York's chill. Yeah. But it's really interesting how it's compulsive. Like, you can get on and then, just swipe. Or before you know it, or like for me, it would be like, I would be on social media for whatever amount of time. Mm-hmm. And then when everything else got boring, I would go to Tinder, the dating apps, and it's like
Bumble or whatever.
It's so ridiculous. It's like, it's literally just there it's like a game.
Yeah.
You're just playing a game, seeing who's going to match you, blah, blah. It's like sometimes, like, if there was a really hot guy that I knew was out of my league, I'd be like, I wonder just if he'll, match me back. But it ends up not mattering anyway.
Yeah. But it turns into a game of self-esteem, I think.
Yes, exactly.
So, which is like a very touchy subject when it comes to self-esteem and dating apps, because so many people use dating apps.
Yeah.
But
why are we using them?
Well, I've noticed, and I've had this conversation with a few of my friends that also don't use social media apps. I mean, not social media apps, dating apps, sorry. It's anyone that we know using them has, and like everyone, it's not like everyone's 100%, oh my God, I love myself, I'm great,
Sure.
We can be at like 90%, 95%, but, we all are going to have that 5% where, we have our bad days or, whatever. But most of the people we know that are on those dating apps, they have a clear sense of that confidence missing. And it's not like it's that person's fault or that it's, so transparent, but it's just kind of like, why? It's almost like a crutch. Why do you have to be on it constantly? Yeah, and I think you just said crutch, and that touched on what I was just thinking, which is that I think some people are also just lazy. Oh, yeah. And think that, if I'm just on this dating app, I'll find the one just because I'm here. Yeah. And it's so much, like,
if you're already approaching relationships with that mindset, you're screwed because relationships are work.
Right.
No matter what.
Always. No matter
whether
what.
it's happy work or sad work, you're doing work.
And if you don't want to do the work, then don't be in one.
Right.
You know?
And if you don't want to do, I guess I feel like those, I don't know. It's funny. I would be, I think, the most flaky on those apps because guys will try to meet with you and then I'd have like too many and I'd be like, I can't even.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
Or like, though, I've noticed this when I was on Tinder for those like 4 days, or any of my friends that do use them, these guys never actually end up asking you out.
No.
So it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Right,
I'm not going to be your crutch to talk, like some hot girl to talk to.
Right. And then one time I went on a date and we had just met. Actually, I went on like one down here. Mm-hmm. And we had just met. And then he's like, oh, do you want to go to the beach? I'm like, no, I don't know you. I just met you. Yeah. I don't know you. I'm not prepared to go to the beach. Yeah, so no, I don't. And then it's like, and then I feel like an asshole for saying no. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, come on. And it's just like that coercive shit gets me. I'm like, the second you try to coerce me into shit, you're done because.
Bye.
Yeah, no. That's, no.
No.
And that can get aggressive and that can get uncomfortable and get assault can happen coercively. Mm-hmm. I'm just not with that shit.
Especially when you just simply try to turn a guy down for asking you out too. Yeah. You're like, okay, no. Like, it's that whole big conversation of the fact that you have to say you have a boyfriend. Yeah. Because they respect the boyfriend. Respecting you saying no.
Oh my God, that shit is fucked up. Yeah, we've all done that.
But if I ever say, I'm so bad. Whenever people ask me out, I actually had a situation yesterday at work. 2 guys that were friends, which I noticed later on, both asked me out with like the same script. And then they ended up calling each other and like me. It was like the weirdest fucking, they did it within 30 seconds of each other. And at first I was like, what am I wearing? Like, am I giving something off? And then I realized they were friends and they met up later on. I'm like, that type of shit's weird as fuck, dude. Like,
that is weird.
And they both used pickup lines. I'm like, this is not something.
What are they, like, comparing notes? Like, hey, this worked and this didn't. So.
It was very bizarre. But it's that type of thing where it's, like, I'm always like, oh, no thanks. But, like, I appreciate you asking. Like, I'm always so nice about it.
I hate being overly nice.
And I'm so nice about it. And then, then you leave the guy leaves being like, oh, maybe I have another chance because she was so nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I know, we need to stop being nice just to, like, not hurt dudes' feelings.
Exactly.
Although that's scary because you never know what they're going to do.
Because they can kill you.
Right. It's mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had people follow me in my car. I've had people, really, I've had a stalker that I had to contact the police.
That has been like a theme recently. Like
and the police don't care.
Because they feel like they can't do anything.
Exactly. The police do not care. And I was actually a minor when that was happening. This guy was like 37 years old and I was 17. And he would not stop calling me and texting me. And the only reason why I actually gave him my number was he like worked at this restaurant and we had always gone to the restaurant and he knew my dad and he knew that I was an actor. So me being 17, he's like, oh, my sister works on whatever show. Like maybe I can give her your number. Like give me your number and I'll get you in touch with her. Yeah. When I was 17, I was like, oh, okay, that seems harmless.
Turned out that sounds harmless anyway.
Yeah, he was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He was fucking crazy. I actually hid it from my dad until one of my friends like realized what was going on. She's like, who keeps calling you? Like, what are these voicemails? I was like, nothing. And I remember she like took my phone and she's like, oh my God. She's like, you need to tell someone immediately, like what's happening. Because I was so scared. Like I was 17. I didn't know what to do.
When I was 16 and I worked at Target, my first job, I worked in the fitting room. And this guy, I was alone in the fitting room and this guy walked up and he wouldn't leave me alone, like asking me questions and shit. I'm like, I don't care. And then he asked me for my number and I was afraid, so I gave it to him.
Yeah, oh yeah, story of my life.
And yeah, I hate that feeling. That pressure is awful. And then later on, I don't remember, I know I wasn't really responding to him if he was texting me and stuff. At one point he like threatened to kill me and like called me a bitch or something.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Did you report him?
No, he didn't know. Well, I think I must have done something. Or maybe he didn't threaten to kill me, but he threatened me in some capacity.
I
can't remember now. Anything it was so long ago. Awful. But it was something violent, and he called me a bitch, and I'm pretty sure that I know I told my bosses, and they were on top of it and stuff. But I was like, what the? Like, it's just so. I mean, I don't even know how to like begin unpacking
I don't even.
why women are seen or treated this way, and why violence is such a thing, and why men have the ego to be so upset at rejection or if someone doesn't want you. I mean, it's just bizarre. Or the power and the control.
Yeah.
And then stalking, I feel like that ties into being really insecure, but like what makes you so obsessed with somebody?
Yeah.
That you have no self-control and that you're being a total creep. And I mean, I wish that in this episode, I feel like we're covering so much stuff that I wish that we could unpack and like have answers for.
Yeah.
But I really don't. I know that it needs to stop.
Yeah.
But I don't have answers. I mean, I know that for some things, I was talking about this yesterday with someone, that I know when things like the mass shootings or men being abusive, that those things come from a line of growing up where men are taught that they can't have emotions. They can't express themselves. They have to be tough guys. If they're crying. Toxic masculinity, exactly. And I know that that's the root of so much. And that's probably the root of everything that we're talking about, addressing those kinds of things that are related. And I wish, I mean, the answer, unfortunately, is not shunning men away, but nurturing them and loving them, because they need that kind of, they need someone to tell them it's okay. But here's the thing also. Women can't do this work for men.
No, they have to do it themselves.
Men have to do this inner work. They have to address these root issues that cause their pain, that cause them to be violent, whether it's emotionally, physically, whatever it is. Because I'm 90% sure every woman has been on the receiving end of something that relates to toxic masculinity.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, I think it's every single one. We can love them through it and support them through it and be there for them.
Right. But
we can't do it for them. And I think that too many men are spiritually and emotionally lazy.
Oh, 100%. Or they think that that's whack, that's stupid, they don't have time for that.
That's girly stuff.
That's hippy-dippy stuff. Mm-hmm, girly stuff. Because that's toxic masculinity.
Exactly. It's already embedded and they're already
there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that meme where it's like, how aware are you of your past emotional trauma and like what you believe in before we get involved?
Really? I've seen that before.
I don't want to deal.
Exactly.
But, it's everywhere.
It really and it's funny because this matters to everybody, not just men and women. Mm-hmm. It's a thing for every single person, regardless of identity, that to have that inner, to be open with yourself, to heal the programs that hinder you. And it takes so much work. I'm still figuring stuff out. We're all still figuring it out.
Figuring shit out. Okay.
I realized something that has been impacting my entire life, that it even impacts my writing and my work, where I'm not even where I could be or where I feel I should be because of those things holding me back, or, and it's like, I'm almost 30 and I'm realizing that. So it's like,
it takes time. It's not like an overnight. It's not a pill you can take. Definitely not.
And I hope that I just really want men to really pause in interactions with women and just take the time to reflect on what kind of programs are in their brains, of how they see women, of how they think of women, how they talk to women, how they talk over women, how they dismiss women. Because I experience that so often, and it infuriates me. I mean, it's just the way that you can even be with people you love so deeply, but if you're one woman in a room with two men, those two men will naturally, some of them, will naturally go into a space where they have a camaraderie, and now you're the outsider, and we're going to pick on you. Mm-hmm. We're not going to listen to you. We're going to talk over you. You're going to go get us beers. You're going to make us food. It's like really easy to move into that behavior.
Really, really easy.
And it's really easy for us to go along with it. And so I can't anymore. Mm-mm. I mean, I don't have the tolerance. It's like, if I notice that, I'm going to call you out.
Oh, always.
I can't. It's just... it's so deeply embedded, and I think that everything I'm talking about in all these conversations comes down to one thing, which is just really being present.
Right.
Which is so important. I think that that's another thing that social media and dating apps take us out of, is being present. Yeah. We don't have to monitor everything. We're swiping fast and we're scrolling fast, and we're not even thinking about all the ways that we're being impacted or that we're impacting others, and it's just... crazy.
It's a lot to think about, a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, it is a lot. But it's important. And I think that you know, for men who do want to know where to start or where to do the work, I don't know. I tell everyone to journal.
Yeah.
It's the best place to talk to yourself.
Journal, or even just ask if you have really close
female friends, sisters, you're close to your mom, aunts.
Kind of just ask about their experiences.
Ask about experiences. Talk to people. Think before you say something or act or interrupt someone talking, or
offer to, yeah, like, you know, I feel like as ridiculous as it is, men should always offer to, you know, if someone's walking somewhere and be like, hey, like, are you cool walking by yourself? Like, you know, kind of always, not that we want to go back into, you know, men being the protectors, but it is nice when men are an ally of protectors, because, like, women can protect themselves to a point. Like, for example, we're both really small.
Yeah.
We can protect ourselves to a point, but if some 6 foot, 250 pound guy comes up, what can we realistically do here?
Exactly.
We can. I'm not going to say we can't, but like our odds are really not in our favor.
True.
So it's nice if, you know, men are just aware of the safety concern and don't brush it off.
Yes, and I see some people on social media who they don't necessarily abide by all traditional roles, but that they will say that it is men's duty to protect women. And I think that on some kind of, if you really take away all the constructs we create in our lives and look at how animalistic we are, that's how animals are.
Yeah.
I just think that at the end of the day, women should be protected.
Yeah.
Whether it's women protecting other women or men protecting women, I think that just women overall deserve to be more valued. Well, and I think that all the men and boys listening to this, you know, I know that some of my guy friends are going to be listening. And my guy friends are going to be the ones who are more in line with this. Right. Because I keep those kinds of people around me and I don't tolerate the fuck shit. But, you know, keep your other friends in check too.
Yeah.
I have guy friends who have shitty guy friends.
Oh.
Keep those friends in check. You know, just think about more ways that you can support people and be vocal. What I can't stand is people that avoid confrontation at the sake of not, or sorry, I said that backwards, who don't speak up at the sake of avoiding confrontation.
Exactly.
So you're not doing anyone any favors.
No. I have a really good example. My main boss, we had, at my job, we had this guy who exposed himself to a team member on the floor. He was like masturbating to her on the floor. Oh, disgusting. Yeah.
So wait, gross. He worked there?
No, he was just a customer.
Oh.
And they have him on camera and everything. And then we had another situation.
I wish everyone could see my face right now. I'm just like
so disgusting. I came in like 5 minutes after this happened.
Oh my God.
We had another team member that got slapped in the face by a customer for doing absolutely nothing. She was just crazy. It was a girl that slapped this other girl.
Oh my God.
And in this store meeting we had like a little bit after, my boss was saying how he's noticed a lot of the women have been getting into these conversations and that they need to stop them. They need to like continue working. So I raised my hand like, well, what if due to current situations that have happened, what if we can't get ourselves out of those conversations? You know, like these people aren't leaving us alone. What can we do? Like, can we have a signal? Can we have someone help? And he goes, nah, you need to shut that shit down on your own.
What?
That was it. End of conversation.
Oh, my God.
And I actually there was another supervisor that was like, well, you know, if there's a real issue, call one of us over. We can help you out, which was the correct answer for women or men in that situation.
Sure.
But that response in and of itself spoke volumes of who he is.
Exactly.
The type of man he is, the type of leader he is, and the type of what he expects.
Right.
Like, you know,
and it's, even though he's not addressing, even if he wasn't talking about his beliefs around women, that
was it.
His beliefs around women easily.
Exactly.
And you know, he might think that he respects women and he might be in a relationship and he might treat her really well, but it doesn't, that's my point, is that it's not so surface level.
It's not just one.
You can think you treat someone really well, and you can think you love women, you can think you have a lot of girlfriends who are really great and they're your platonic friends and you're a nice guy, and you can think you're a really nice guy, you can still do things that are microaggressions or still violent on some level where, or they might trigger a reaction in one of your friends or your partner because she had a horrible experience related to that kind of behavior.
Exactly.
Even if it's something small.
That would be another thing that guys could do, which might be kind of a weird question to ask people you're close with, but you could also just kind of say, hey, I just wanted to make sure, is there anything I do ever that makes you uncomfortable, like, as your friend?
Yeah. I mean, I think that would be brave, and I think that could be really productive.
Yeah.
Because then it would make women feel like, oh, hey, he actually cares and wants to hear, and maybe you don't do anything wrong, or maybe you do things that are just slightly off and you have room for improvement, or, you know, the guys that aren't going to ask us questions and don't care are probably the ones who feel all the things that we don't want to be around. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't think...
Or, you know, asking, are there things I can do to help you feel more safe
if you're open to asking somebody that question, you're already doing better.
Exactly.
Than tons of other men.
100%.
If you don't ask it, if you even think that way, I mean, I would recommend asking and not just thinking it. But if you even just think that, if you're even just contemplating in your mind, how can I be a better man in this climate of this world and how these women feel, and you listen at all, and you even care what your friends or sisters or mom or girlfriend or whoever has to say.
Anyone with a freaking vagina, right? I should say.
You're already doing better.
Yeah. And, you know, you can encourage just women to say that to their female friends, too.
This is true.
Start girl love conversations.
Yeah, and that goes back to the friendship thing, yes. Mm-hmm. And I know we're talking a lot about, like, men and women because that's what we know, but I do want to acknowledge for everyone who does not subscribe to a specific gender or, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Any of that. These concepts transcend over everybody. They impact everyone differently, but... You know, it comes down to asking everyone, I guess. And that's, I mean, that kind of question, I just realized in saying that, can really branch out to so many identities.
Oh, yeah.
Ask your gay friends if they're okay. You know, like when you see things that are happening that are hurting the LGBTQIA community, think about, you know, how you can... reach out to everybody. I mean, I guess that's the basis of everything, and the intimacy between friends and all that is making sure, like, am I doing well? And I guess that kind of reminds me of bringing people into that constructive criticism without canceling or dragging them publicly. It's like, I don't think we need to do all that. I think we just need to have these intimate conversations and have community. That's why I want to have events with Pussy Magic. Have these kinds of conversations in group settings. I think that'd be so powerful.
That'd be so great.
So I'm planning on it.
Like a women's circle.
Yeah.
Except you probably have all different.
Yeah, I'm sure Pussy Magic will attract more women than anyone.
Right.
But I don't care. I know that I know my work will reach who it's supposed to reach. I have guy friends who love my writing and share that my writing helped them, and that just warms the shit out of my heart. So like nice. It's so cool, and I love them. So I know that if they were here, I know that they'd be down to come to the events and stuff, but yeah, we'll see. And I do think that guys who are afraid of stuff like that should go.
Oh, definitely.
Just go. Just explore.
Just listen.
Explore feminine zones that are open to having men, because there are plenty of places that don't shut men out, even if they're women focused. Like Pussy Magic's women focused, but I get men submit writing to us and everything. So I think that it's, go where you don't feel comfy.
Exactly.
Go in a space where it's mostly women, and you will learn so much more about like how you should behave, or it's just, I think it's beautiful. I think men should spend a lot more time. I know my partner, I think the reason that I knew I was like, this is going to be good for me, is because he grew up all surrounded by women.
Right, there you go.
He's he respects women. He
knows
women, and he gets it. So
yeah, these conversations are not for men that are saying, oh, women are crying or whining about how they're being treated, or the men that are like, not all men are bad, not all men are trash, like I treat people fine. Like, yeah, we know. That's the wrong conversation.
And that's like the basis of your existence,
exactly,
is that you're not a dick. So.
Exactly. So
if
you're not a dick, then just keep that to yourself and help teach other people not to be a dick, because unfortunately men are going to listen to other men rather than listen to women.
Oh, and don't even get me started on that shit, because that just really drives me crazy.
Mansplaining is a real thing.
Mansplaining, men only listening to men. I mean, I'm sure everyone's experienced this. You literally say the same thing a man said, and the man will only hear what the other dude said instead of what you said. And it's like, I just said the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. But...
Or are you sure?
Yeah.
Fuck off. Even if I had a PhD, you wouldn't listen to me.
Right. I know.
In whatever topic we were talking about.
That's my point, is that this shit is so embedded. It's so deeply embedded. Okay, well, we could go on forever about these topics, but Callan and I speak on these topics all the time, and it's part of our work. So catch up with us on social media. You can always tweet me all your ideas, and I will, in boundaries, either respond to you or not, because, you got to come respectful. But Callan, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for the tea.
Yeah. Yeah, I got us all set up with some tea. And yeah, catch us on the next episode of Satin Soul Bits. And thank you for being with us today. Bye.
Yay, bye.